Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Super Subs Podcast. Your host, Harish and Narv. Today we will just cover the Premier League, just do a Premier League recap. We had games over the weekend, and then we had some midweek games as well. We're recording today on Wednesday, so we've watched some of the games this midweek as well, and then there's a few more tomorrow. So we can make some predictions for that for funsies and then this weekend as well. Uh,
Welcome
all
back,
right.
man.
Thank you. Yeah. It was good seeing you and Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
Uh, you were splurging, bro, on that food. I gotta tell Ty, you went 4 days off your diet.
Oh man.
He's
Super
getting the
sub of the week, definitely mom and our sister changing up my food. The dishes they
yeah.
made crazy.
What was your standout dish? Standout for
Uh,
Thanksgiving?
Probably the corn casserole.
Hmm.
I love the deviled eggs, but the corn casserole just hit different this year.
Different. It's improved
Oh yeah.
years.
What about you?
Nice.
Sticking with the yams?
I gotta go with the yams, old reliable yams. Nothing flashy, it's reminds me of Conte, nothing too fancy, but you can rely on him to carries the whole team. The whole
Mhm.
dish is the yams. Um, but yeah, it was a fun Thanksgiving. Good to see the family. I hope everyone listening had had a good break as well. Hopefully you got to eat well, enjoy time with friends and family. And hopefully you got to listen to an episode last week. I listened to Narva's breakdown of the Manchester game and Ruben's kind of his press conference, like what he's talked about so far and kind of his tactics that, he's it was only one game, but you could already see some of his fingerprints in that game. It's pretty cool to see. He wasn't joking,
Mhm.
that you'll get an idea. Uh, United fans are weird though, man. Like
Why?
they hype up Amarin with like, and it's not even about like soccer related. They be hyping him up like he's the next big thing. Like we analyzing the way he dresses, the way he like walks into the dressing room and interview rooms and answers questions. I'm like, bro, hop off.
I think it's just because he's on the complete opposite spectrum of Ten Hag.
Yeah,
Um, Completely different personality. So
United hasn't had a. They've never really had a coach with like swag or that type of
I guess
personality.
Jose, but he's a
Yeah,
different
maybe
animal.
Jose. Yeah.
See where they play, if they play.
If they play. Um, but yeah, let's move on to, we'll go back to what we start with, super subs of the week. So we have plenty of games. Let's just stick to Premier League since we're doing that roundup today. Who's your Premier League super sub?
My super sub is, and we'll touch on the game. I'm sure do a deep dive into it, but Jarell Quansah for Liverpool against City, just because I think Liverpool had a comfortable win, but when came on, Trent was kind of getting cooked, and Slot, I think he just wanted to play it safe and make sure they were kind of sitting the game out. And I thought for quite a young player who's still trying to gain experience and hasn't had the best of moments at times, I thought he came in and um, did his job well.
Really? I would have to completely disagree. I thought, yeah, Trent was definitely getting cooked by Doku badly. Trent was not comfortable, but I thought Doku was also cooking Kwanzaa, in that last like 15 minutes. Uh,
He was cooking
it,
Trent on a high heat, but on Kwanzaa is more of a simmer.
I don't know. He was still cooking. Doku's just kind of final product wasn't there, and Liverpool just kind of built like a defensive wall on their 18-yard box, it seemed. Um, but yeah, that's a very interesting shout. I'm gonna go with a Liverpool player as well for my super sub. From today's game, against Newcastle, my super sub was um, Trent Alexander-Arnold. So it's kind of funny, the type of wavelength we're on. Uh, but I mean, let's just dig into it, you know? Let's dig into the City Liverpool game, and then right after, let's hop over to Liverpool versus Newcastle today. So, and then I can kind of expand on my super sub decision from that. Um, so, what are your thoughts from the City Liverpool game? What were some of your main takeaways?
Uh, out of a lot of takeaways, which team do you want to start off with? You want to go into the goods of Liverpool or the bads of City?
Let's go with, start positive. Let's talk,
Start
give,
positive.
yeah, Liverpool their flowers.
Um, I think I just have to say it again, but I think Liverpool, they're the best team, not just in the Premier League, but the entire world at the moment. Um, and I don't know there has to be stuff going on behind the scenes, but they need to just extend that contract for Salah and Van Dijk. I think
I,
Van Dijk is another level this year. Salah's another level. I don't think Van Dijk, he's not on the levels he was at like pre-ACL injury. That was kind of like a freak of nature, but he's is still up there. I think
the
he's
best
like
center back in the
center,
world.
yeah, right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been saying that for years too. But I think that's a great shout. And I think he is in talks with Liverpool already, with his contract. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure with Salah. Maybe he's just playing games to kind of get some more
Yeah, it's
money,
just
maybe.
the vibes like in the post game is like so weird when he's like, I love the fans, but he's like, I don't know if this is my last he said something about
Hmm.
like I had to play my best because it might be my last time playing against City. So I was like
Yeah.
super weird. But I know City, I mean Liverpool just they were just they dominated that game. I think the score line could have been way, way worse. Van Dijk himself could have had a hat trick
Hmm.
off the set pieces, and I feel like they just suffocated City. Like City had not like couldn't play out their own half.
Yeah, I agree. I think Van Dyke was someone that I had written down as giving a shout because he was incredible. And I was kind of worried going into the game. I was like, ah, here we go. Haters are gonna say, oh, Van Dyke's overrated. And I was because he had Joe Gomez there, and I am not a fan of that brother. So but Joe Gomez surprisingly looked pretty good too.
Fair play,
Um,
hit a good game.
yeah, he had a good game, but I think that's goes to a little more of City, um, where Holland, you know, he relies so much on the service around him and kind of like being trying to stay at like the edge of the back line, um, and playing off that back line. So he could have probably changed it up a little and drop in much deeper, try to link up, but like that's not really his style. So I think it kind of helped, like played into Liverpool's hand as well.
Mhm.
Um, where Holland, like I forget the stat, but like the number of touches he had, like it's pretty pathetic if you're people are considering you the best player in the world to have that number of touches and zero influence in the game is absolutely ridiculous. If I was Pep, I would probably taken him off, but I think that played into the hand of Liverpool a little. But yeah, still fair play to Gomez. I mean, he did well when he needed to.
And shout out also to I've been giving him a lot of criticism, just because I'm also a fan of Curtis Jones, but I thought Dominic Szoboszlai, that was one of his better, maybe his best performance in a Liverpool jersey.
Yeah, he looked good. Um, And then I think all around, I don't recall anyone on Liverpool having a poor game.
No, I think everyone put maybe like a eight, 8 out of 10 performance minimum.
Hmm.
Um, Even Kelleher, he's stepped up to make that one big save, off the little debacle Van Dijk had, but
Hmm.
other than that, he didn't have any work really.
Yeah, I think the subs were a little, they could have played better, especially Quansah and Darwin Núñez. I was hoping he'd be more of an impact off the bench, but he was a little quiet. But still, I mean, Liverpool were dominant from back to front. Um,
It could have easily, if Liverpool, I think the only downside of the game was they just poor finishing.
yeah, they wasted a lot of chances.
And that was one thing I thought could have, if anything, could have given City hope. And haunted Liverpool was all the missed chances because at the end of the day, it could have easily been 5-6-0.
Oh yeah, agreed. So let's move on to City. There was uh Pep did not get sacked, but it was funny to kind of see him beefing with the fans there, taunting them, but
He was rattled.
he was shook.
He was trying to be like one of those he's trying to be a Jose, like troll the fans and
Yeah, he was really shook. He held up six for what, six straight losses. Um, but
even after
City,
the game he did that. Walked over to the Liverpool fans and did that.
yeah, I think City, man, they just look too predictable in my view. Like the way they're playing, like trying to build, it's just kind of side to side and no between the line passes and um, even Pep, like the changes he made were I felt like way too late because Doku, I mean, he made a big difference. Grealish did. I mean, the subs were great, but they had what, 10 minutes to make a difference?
And even at times it's again Pep causing his own troubles because I think I mentioned it in a few podcasts ago where I was like, Mateus Nunes out there in the wing,
Hmm.
he's never played there. Super ineffective, and he he played so much of that game. I thought, as you to your point, Daku should have came on much earlier. But there's some big name players at City, I think, who we need to really start digging deeper into. I mean, last
Number
year's
one.
player this season, Phil
Yep.
Foden. I don't know what's happened to him this year.
Especially with De Bruyne hurt, you'd think he'd step up to that stage and really carry the team on his back. Because, I mean, he did that last year where he got the goals when they needed it most. And this year without De Bruyne, you're like, okay, Foden, here's your team. He gets to play the 10 role, and he was just missing. He's been missing this whole season, every game.
It's crazy. He doesn't have a goal or an assist all year. Um, yeah, I don't have any words for him. He's been super disappointing. Um, Bernardo Silva is another one who I think s- he's not having a great year at all.
I thought
Um,
he was actually one of the better players, though, for City this weekend.
you think so?
Yeah,
I thought if
especially the miles he put in. Um, and I felt like he was the only one that was able to create a couple chances for City.
mm, fair. I think the only player that could have held his head high out that game was maybe Nathan Ake. I thought he had a pretty good game.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, especially against Salah too. Salah was kind of getting frustrated halfway through the game.
yeah, that was a big decision to drop
Oh yeah.
Vardiol, but he's been kind of struggling defensively. Um, and then Gundogan, he looks like he's ready for retirement. And then Holland, he just, as you mentioned earlier, just relies on service. So he needs to make an impact. But
He started off the year hot, but again, the thing about Holland that I get annoyed with fans is that he racks up stats against these poor teams, bottom teams, but then when it comes to the big games, dude, the top teams in the Premier League, Champions League games where it matters, not just a group stage meaningless game. He's in all these defenders' pockets. He doesn't show up, but then he'll go get a hat trick versus uh who do you get a hat trick versus? I don't even know,
West
but
Ham.
West Ham, he'll go get a hat trick versus some other Premier League bottom team. And you kind of forget about these other performances because you're like, oh wow, he's at 11 this year. And then the thing, like, again, to Holland, like, where people say he's one of the best, like, none of those goals, none of his goals and his like okay, maybe Dortmund days I can clearly remember some of his crazy goals, but at City a lot of his goals I don't remember them. He's a pure poacher that relies on service, and like today Newcastle, their striker was a completely different story. I felt like
Yeah, I'm sure
and
we'll touch on
cost
him. Yeah.
yeah um but now Salah is ahead of Haaland, I think, in terms of goals in the Premier League, and right behind Saka for assists.
Yeah, Salah's having he's having a Ballon d'Or season right now.
Hmm. Completely agree.
Yeah,
I didn't think you could get better from his levels.
especially at his age, you thought he'd be on the decline if anything.
Hmm.
Um yeah, again, back to Holland. He's I mean, probably the best finisher I've seen, but just in terms of all-around play, you saw it I think at Salzburg and Dortmund you would see it, but again, the Premier League's just a different beast.
Hmm.
Um so I don't know. I think you know which player I think would have thrived uh currently at City, just them being down in the slumps,
Hmm.
would be Harry Kane. I think if they had a striker like Harry Kane,
Ooh.
they'd be they'd be a different animal. Because Kane can create his own chances and then also create for teammates.
Yeah, that's a good point. And how much do you think, that they're missing Rodri?
I think he's a big miss. Um, I think I said it um last episode. Um, but I think it's just showing more and more how deserving he might be of that Ballon d'Or. Um, just you can see they're a bit in shambles in the transition when the teams are on counterattack. So not having a presence like Rodri. But to be fair, Kovacic, I thought he stepped in to fill in Rodri's shoes pretty nicely, and then he got hurt. But
He's
again,
probably been City's most consistent player this year.
I think so too. Yeah. But I don't know. Rodri's just his presence just is a big miss not
I
having
think,
him.
yeah, I think De Bruyne also is a big miss creativity wise. You see it at Arsenal. I mean, they're a completely different team with Odegaard. I think it's the same thing with City. Um, with De Bruyne, I mean, the past few years when he's been hurt, you can see the expected goals and even goals scored they with and without De Bruyne is completely different. And again, Pep, I don't know, maybe he is kind of like completely rattled right now because he could have made a lot of changes, but waited like very late into the game.
Do you think Pep knows his best 11? His ideal 11? Because I don't
Probably
know. This
not.
year, I've never seen him make this many like changes to his starting 11 like on a constant basis. I
Hmm.
feel like every week is a new 11.
Yeah, I think he is. Another reason he's super rattled is like, I mean, dude, Ederson's been pretty decent this year and shouldn't have been dropped, but like he like felt like he had to make some change.
That was the most
Uh,
unnecessary change.
yeah, and I think that was
Ederson's
like,
been playing well, if anything.
yeah, he's been good. So for Pep to drop him and said, in the pre-game conference, he was like, "Oh, we need to change something." Uh, I was like, "This man is shook right now. He's on the and that translates to the team. If the manager can't hold it together, um,
Yeah.
a lot of times it spills over to the team.
Him scratching his forehead and leaving scratch marks on his nose.
He's going
Yeah, he's
psych
going,
crazy.
yeah, he's going psycho right now.
Someone needs to check in on him daily." But I mean, let's move on from this game, and let's hop right into Liverpool's game today, against Newcastle. Um,
That was an exciting match.
it was a very fun game for a neutral. Uh, a lot of ups and downs. Where do you want to start with this one? Um, do you
I
want to
guess we can
talk?
give, yeah, we can talk about Newcastle. Um, and then I'll let you speak on Isak because I know you're gonna hop right into it.
Yeah, Isak. I'm a huge fan of this player. Um, I think the way he's able to almost play like a winger at times, like he has those capabilities where he can take on defenders, but he can also his finishing's really good. So he can be that poacher and uh I think against y'all he had a pretty nice header. Um or no, was it I forget who they played this year where he had this crazy
Oh, I think,
header.
oh, that was Arsenal.
Arsenal, yeah, that's right. Um so he can kind of do it all as a forward and his link up play is super nice too. And again, this is where like he was able to change it up versus Holland instead of just waiting for service, he was dropping in and he was causing today Kwanzaa and Joe Gomez a ton of trouble. I know that first goal, it was him and Van Dijk one on one, but I thought Van Dijk defended that pretty well. Just
That was just a
sh
crazy shot.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was just that's the only shot he could make, and it was perfect shot. But that second goal was Joe Gomez and Kwanzaa were lost, didn't know who to pick up Isak, who should pick up Isak, and then he just nice pass to Gordon. Um, but he really I think got Liverpool uncomfortable today. But Trent, fair play to him. He came in, kind of solidified it a little more, and we all know like his attacking threat. Got a
Mhm.
couple of assists. So yeah, that's why he was my super sub. He was able to solidify the defense a little more and then also get those two crucial assists.
Good point. Um, I think also Liverpool, missing Konate. Uh,
Mm.
I hope that doesn't do them harm. Um, because he's a big presence. Um, who's built a really good partnership with Van Dijk. Um, in like today's game, you can see that the back line was little flustered on who they should be picking up, and I mean Isak, he was having a field day, I thought.
Hmm.
Um, he was kind of running the show. I'd say him and Joelinton were the two guys for Newcastle that were kind of running the show for him.
Yeah, even Murphy had a few good chance. He hit the post, I
Hit the
think,
put,
and
yeah, he was causing
Kelleher
some
made a
trouble.
save.
I will say though, Newcastle's third goal, I'd put the blame on Kelleher.
Mm.
Um, and I think that's one of his like first few mistakes if I've ever seen while he's played for Liverpool.
But that was a nice by Share to kind of get that slot because he was really reaching, but that was like pretty skillful for him to be at the touchline and still get
Hmm.
it in.
Yeah. And was it Salah 2 goals? So that was one thing I was surprised about was Liverpool not seeing the game out once they took the lead. Um, because under Slot so far, even after like grabbing the first goal, they kind of sit back and just control possession. So I thought they'd be able to see it out, but
Yeah, Newcastle were putting a ton of pressure. It might also, everyone says it's not an easy place to play. It's like very loud and stuff, and even like the cameras, like during the game, are shaking. So, but I mean, you would think like Liverpool players would be kind of used to playing in such a loud stadium like at Anfield.
do you also know that like apparently Newcastle Stadium's like slanted?
Yeah, I heard that on a
That's crazy.
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I guess like the way it's built too, kind of the seats kind of go up and you're kind of looking down right into the field as
Oh
well.
wow.
So it makes a lot of noise. So Everton's new stadium, I don't know when it's supposed to be done. I feel like they've been talking about it forever now, but it's gonna be similar.
How does Everton afford a new stadium after all their
Dude, I have no, they better stay up in the Premier League.
after all that work that Sean Dyche put in? Yeah, I hope so.
But Salah today, he hit the crossbar once and had another shot that Nick Pope had a really good save, but his that first goal where he kind of it was kind of a bad first touch, but like he made it look nice and he did like a
Oh, on the turn.
turn oh my God, that was
Yep.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that was nasty. Um, and then also Liverpool, like even though they're missing Konate, I guess one positive would be seeing Harvey Elliott return. Um,
Hmm. Dude,
because
he
he
looks like an old
was,
man now.
yeah, it's crazy. Is he still like under 20? I forget. I feel like he's
Uh
young, but um, because I think he might have been on my list for the young player of the year for Premier League.
yeah, I'm not sure how old he is. Um, any other takeaways from this game?
Uh, no, not from this one. Oh, speaking of age though, crazy. Going back to Phil Foden, I didn't realize he's 24 now.
Yeah, dude, he's been at the squad for a while.
That's wild. I feel like City fans still treat him like as a like when you got a youngster on the come up, you're like your star boy.
Hmm.
They still like I feel like they still give him that treatment at times, but like he's like an established player by now.
Yeah, I feel like this was perfect timing for him with De Bruyne down for a while to
Hmm.
really be like, I'm that man now, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. Which game you want to go on to next?
Uh, Next we can go into from the weekend. Let's touch on, I mean, there were a lot of games during that 8:30 window, so I think we can quickly touch on quickly touch on Spurs Fulham. I didn't watch that game really. I just had it on the side a little, but uh, my main takeaway was uh, that front three just wasn't it for Spurs, especially Sonny down the middle. Uh, he's good, but he looked kind of non-existent. He's definitely more of a threat from out wide, and I think it just showed that they are like the value of Solanke, even though he hasn't been getting goals because they look more cohesive going forward with him in the lineup. Uh, so I know a lot of people are questioning like, oh, he was big money man, not getting goals and assists, but sometimes it's not all about just getting goals and assists.
He's another one who's his hold up plays, yeah. His hold up plays excellent. Linking up
Hmm.
play. Uh yeah, I didn't really focus on this game as well just because my boys were playing, but um it's just crazy how Tottenham goes from like beating like demolishing City to um dropping points. Like I feel like they're just a very inconsistent team. Who's kind of hard to predict on their results. Um and I think that's what makes it kind of fun to watch them as well. Like they beat City in the Carabao and then they beat Villa during the weekend. But then they lose to Ipswich. Then they beat City again. And then they tie a down bad Roma team in the Europa and tie Fulham. Like the teams you don't expect them to get points to, they'll play out their mind and get a win. But the gimme games, I feel like they don't play well.
Yeah, especially with Ange this. preseason too. He's like, it's my second year. I always win something. And it like always feels like to your point, they're making a step forward, but then they take two steps back with like this type of performance.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
my super sub was gonna be possibly Tom Kearney until he got the
until
red.
he got the red. Yeah, that was that was a dirty tackle.
I don't know if he meant it. It felt like he was reaching, but I don't know. I feel like slow-mo always makes it look bad.
Yeah, we'll see with Spurs. I mean, they're really fun to watch, which is good for a neutral, but uh they just don't have control in that like even when they take the lead and Fulham weren't creating many chances, they kind of just let Fulham into the game.
Yeah, they're a very vulnerable team.
hmm Especially with that back line right now. Um,
Yeah,
but
Davies and Dragoshin.
but I mean, props to them. They've been performing pretty well together.
Hmm.
It's definitely not the same as Van de Ven and Romero, but they've stepped in and done a decent job. And I guess with Forster too, he made a couple big saves.
Crazy he still plays.
Dude, the best goalkeeper of all time,
No,
according according to Messi.
yeah, that's wild. Messi doesn't have that talent ID.
I guess not. Uh, so let's move on from that game to let's go to your boys over the weekend, and then we can touch on today as well. Um, so United versus Everton. Uh, I'll touch on Everton. I think their main takeaway for me was there's one center back that really wants a move to United, it seems. Can you
He is
guess?
twerking for us. Jared Brandtwright.
He looked very poor. But props to Ahmad also for causing havoc against Everton. But yeah,
I'm
he
so
looked
proud of him. I love that kid.
Everton looked poor. I can't really think of anyone other than Dwight McNeil really again running his socks off for the team, but that back line looked poor. Ashley Young got cooked by Bruno like that nutmeg, and then he conceded a penalty. That should have been a penalty, but
Yeah.
they're already getting smacked around. So, um, but again, not much to say on Everton. They looked poor after they went down. Like they had a few chances when it was 0-0, kind of the first half.
Beto, that shot was
But
wild.
but yeah, not much else positive for Everton.
No, I think it was a one-sided game. And I think it was a scoreline that us United fans needed to see. It's been a long time since we've put up such a dominant performance. Um, and then it was nice to see Rashford and Xerxes both getting a little bit of a confidence boost. I don't know, Xerxes still doesn't convince me. I know we both kind of talked about him before the season even started, saying like even at Bologna, um, he wasn't like his numbers weren't that great for a striker. Like I think sub 10 goals, even
hmm
sub 9 goals maybe. But he's just really known for his like technical abilities. Um, but at United, even his technical abilities, you only see glimpses of it. Um, and he just plays like with no urgency,
hmm
like nonchalance.
Yeah, you can't really change that, I guess. That's just kind of his style. But I have to kind of disagree. I know it's only been a few games with Amarin, but the way he's playing Xerxes, I kind of see it now. Like I see the type of player he can be. At first, I was like, "Who is this dude?" Like this dude is n not good. But like where he plays, Amarin's been playing him more as like a midfielder almost. I'm kind of
Mhm.
seeing it, and I was like, "Ooh la la, this dude's a player, dude." Like, even against Everton, some of like the cheeky passes he has, but like he does it so nonchalantly, you don't even like remember it really. But like, I think it was that third goal Rashford had. It was really because of that breaking pass from Xerxes. It was so nonchalant. He played a terrific through ball to uh Ahmad, but like um the more I'm seeing Xerxes like kind of pick these pockets, I think he's gonna be really good in Amarin's system.
I think once he gains more chemistry with his teammates,
Hmm.
because you know which player I think he idolized growing up, because I think he's very similar to one of my favorite
Yeah,
United players.
he reminds me of Berbatov at times.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good shout. I don't think he can play as a pure striker,
No, I
but
don't think so.
where he can get involved in the build-up, I think that's where he's gonna thrive.
Hmm. Yeah, playing that inverted 10,
Hmm.
dropping in there.
I
Yeah.
can really see him being a player.
Xerxes, um it'll just take time with him. I think as he grows some of that chemistry with his teammates, he'll only get better. Um, and then now that you've seen like a very few games under Amarin, who would you say should play that striker role? You think Rashford or Hoyland? You still
No,
sticking with
it's
Rashford?
with Rashford. Nah, I'm not really a fan of either, but I'd probably go with Hoyland. Um,
Mhm.
I think Rashford's kind of donezo. Um, Pretty washed now, I think. Ship him to Saudi, get the bag,
Oh.
call it a day. Um, but no, seriously, uh, he could probably play for like another Premier League team, like a smaller team, but it's, in this system, probably Hoyland. Um, I guess Rashford is finding some form, but it's not really like incredible goals he's scoring necessarily. I mean,
Mm-mm.
it's kind of pretty easy. Average striker could bang those goals he's scored so far. So I'd probably go with Hoyland, but I still think priority would be to get Victor in the
Jokers.
yeah, in the January window.
He's gonna cost a fortune.
Y'all got fortunes to spend.
Not really. We're in some trouble, especially because we're spending all this money on managers.
So Rashford, isn't he a homegrown player?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
The day Rashford leaves, I'll probably tear up a bit. I feel like I've been through the journey with him.
Yeah. I wonder if he could play kind of that wing back role. I know he's a striker, but like
I don't
coming out,
trust him.
I think he's better coming wide than
Mhm.
a I don't he's like Mbappe for me. Like he can't play down the middle. Maybe Emirates can somehow change him, but like so far from what I'm seeing, I can't. He's not great down the middle. He likes to his game is taking players on from out wide, so he doesn't really fit the system. But I don't know if like left, feel like a wing back maybe, but then he doesn't really like the defensive side of the game.
Exactly. Yeah. Um, and then just huge shout out to Ahmad Diallo. This kid he's I think he's established himself as a guaranteed starter under Ruben.
Do you like him at the wing back role?
I really want to see him at the inverted 10, but I mean, he's cooking at the wingback role too, so I don't mind if we stick him there. But I really want to see him at the inverted 10. I think he can do a lot more damage there. But he is
Yeah.
cooking.
Hmm.
Um, the one player I want to see a bit more improvement from would be Dallo. I know he's more comfortable just being playing off the right, but I'm not a fan of him off the left. And I know when we loaned him out like to Milan, he kind of played out there and he's kind of two-footed, but I don't know, at times I feel like he just had a drop off um this season, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah, he's been pretty shit for y'all. Ever since that Southampton game, he got rattled. Playing. Yeah,
Dibbling.
that was that the first game he played left back this year.
Yeah, I think so against
Yeah,
the
and then he's just been ever since that. He had that West Ham miss, and then just mishap after mishap. He's been quite poor, but yeah, he's a perfect profile, him and Mazarawi to be the wing backs.
exactly. Yeah. Mazarawi, he might be our signing of the year. He's been
Facts
crazy.
for that signing of the season for Premier League.
Hmm. For that much money. Wild.
Mm. Um, and then we'll see with kind of the center backs as players are, it seems like let's fast forward a little to today's game, United versus Arsenal. Um, we had Martinez that was suspended, dirty player, and then we had Euro back. Saw a little Euro action.
Exciting stuff. Put in a
Yeah,
crazy tackle in the game too.
what are you thinking is like kind of what would be your ideal back line?
I think backline will be right center back, put Euro, the left center back, Lissandro, and then central center back, I think it might be Harry Maguire. Honestly, the way he distributes the ball, like his diagonal passes, long range, he's got that in the locker, and Ruben kind of needs that type of center back. Um, it's not his fault either, but I'm kind of done with Luke Shaw. He just announced yesterday that he's going to be out for some time. He picked up another injury.
Hmm.
So as much as world class as he is when he's fully fit and healthy, it's just pretty annoying. Can't stay fit. Um, Kind of using us as a physical therapy rehab center for him. So I think we got to cut ties with him.
Yeah, he's definitely lost a lot of his legs. I mean, he would have been perfect his profile to be a wing back on this system, but he's probably gonna be like a center back when he does play almost.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, jumping into Arsenal United, um, man, Saka was cooking again. Um, well, I think first half,
First half, I thought we were pretty solid. Um,
yeah, and that left side like of y'all's defense was actually kind of looking decent. Yeah, Saka and Odegaard had some nice patterns here and there and created a couple decent opportunities, but overall, I thought y'all looked comfortable on that left side. But yeah, second half I felt like was a different story.
yeah. I thought first half we did pretty good too, just kind of controlling some of the possession. Malacia surprisingly looked pretty good first game back from injury. Um, I don't know. Arsenal, they're good, but at times also like I don't fear them that much. Like Liverpool definitely like through open play, like I'm always like on the edge, like scared. Even I would
Hmm.
even go as far to say Chelsea this year, like they're scary to come up against, but like
Oh, for
Arsenal, I
sure.
just don't have that fear. If you know what I mean, like I feel like through open play, they were so much better last year. And this year it's just the set pieces are what's gonna get them the goals. Um, and that was seen through today. Two goals off corners. Could have had more just like purely off corners, but like from actual open play point of view, like I thought we were relatively comfortable versus Arsenal.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I mean, from open play, this game they created less than one expected goals. Whereas like from set pieces, they created over a goal and a half. So a very stark difference there. Um,
And that
but
set piece coach, he annoys the crap out of me. Oh my gosh. I've never seen a non-manager be shown by the camera so many times. I'm like, dude, you're not even like, yeah, you might create the plays here and there, but without Saka and Declan Rice's deliveries, like you'd be irrelevant. Just
But
go
dude,
to sit down.
that's his job though. He makes sure that
He's
they
such a
know when
tool,
it's
like
delivered.
standing right next to Arteta, like he thinks he's the he thinks
He,
he's the center of attention. Like, bro,
during
relax.
set pieces, he is. He draws up those plays. I'm sure he's in training. He's in there, thick of things.
I love it when their set pieces don't go to plan because he hides from that camera, and runs away real quick.
I mean, today though, they had, both goals were from set pieces, but they should have had a couple more from
Yeah, Moreno missed
Party.
a wide open header. Part, yeah.
Yeah, Party, and then who was it that almost did an own goal for y'all? Xerxes.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, Arsenal, set piece is definitely in danger, but like with Odegaard in the team, they definitely uh look better, especially on that right hand. It's very imbalanced though. Um, they need someone better on the left side. They need to upgrade that position.
hmm Yeah, Martinelli,
Martinelli.
he didn't really impact the game at all.
But the
And then
way Odegaard and Saka play together is, man, it's some beautiful,
it feels like they've been
beautiful,
playing for forever. Between
dude.
the two.
That chemistry, man. It is some sexy soccer out there between those
Yeah.
two.
Odegaard is like he's one of those very intelligent players also where like when he passes it, he doesn't like pass it right to you. He kind of like passes it just to like lead you on to your stride. Like it just makes it really smooth.
And he's not like a showy person, but like some of the passes he does is like
He makes
it's
it
like
look yeah, I don't know.
it's like very difficult, but like also some of the passes like how'd you even see that pass, Like where did
hmm
that like he's just like 10 steps ahead of everyone on the field. But like
Yeah.
him and Saka are like on that same wave. It's really nice.
And then I think today also kind of showed that um Diallo should be a lockdown starter for us because he was on the bench. I think he was rested a bit just because against Everton towards the end there he looked quite gassed. So I think fitness will be one thing he'll have to work on. But when he came on, he was making impact straight away. Um, and so that's just really positive to see. And I think we didn't really create that many chances either, though. I know
No.
DeLitt had one header that was a really good save, but other than that, even though we controlled the possession at times, we didn't really do much with it. Um, and that was one thing Amarin mentioned in his pregame was he said there will be this season like he said something about like a storm will come, basically shadowing that there'll be some games where we'll get like a beat down. Um, but he said those games will kind of be needed in order for us to learn um, his style and kind of improve on it.
Hmm. Yeah, today I think it was pretty Arsenal, there was no doubt that they were gonna get anything less than 3 points today. They seemed pretty comfortable. Um, and even without Gabriel, who's I think been their best player or best defender, I mean,
Mhm.
they look solid in the back. Zinchenko too, he looked pretty solid when he came on today, starting today. Uh,
Are Gabriel and Calafiori both hurt? I guess.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, and Zinchenko, he had one cross that was ridiculous, like right on the plate. No Arsenal players in the box. Um, if they had more of a striker instinct up there, rather than just Havertz, someone probably would have gotten the edge of that. And then he had that one that got called offsides in the first half. I forget. I think Martinelli might have finished it, but someone was offsides in the build-up. But like his pass was ridiculous. One touch too
Yeah.
from that Onana mistake.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But Onana, he's played really well this year as well.
Yeah, Ruben's
He's
gonna
made some
love
big
him
saves.
for sure.
Hmm.
Because I know Sporting, their current keeper, I think he was one of their weaker spots, honestly. And he was one that kind of always, I feel like, was one of their weak links. So that's a huge upgrade on that position for Ruben. And then I think Ugarte, he had a really good game today, honestly. He's putting in some good tackles. I think he should be a consistent starter over Casemiro going forward.
Yeah, I'd agree there.
So we'll take some learning lessons from this game and improve on. So
Next, if we want to move to London, big ups Chelsea. 3-0 clapping against Villa. I thought this game would be much closer going into it. I was a little nervous just because Villa's been on somewhat of a cold streak and they're a solid team, so I thought maybe, they would turn things around, but gave them a clapping 3-0.
Villa's been on a colder streak than City.
Yeah, uh, they're pretty close to each other in the table, but I think y'all are one win behind them catching
Hmm.
up. Um, but we've quietly looked like I'm gonna say it again. I need to speak it to existence. We're building a dynasty. Um, Even Enzo Maresca is on my train there. He said after that game, before today's game, he was saying he can see Chelsea dominating English football in the next 10 years, and potentially Europe. And that's exactly what I see. And I'm getting those Barca Day vibes at times. And like one thing that goes very undervalued with our team is under Maresca is the way we press. And that we really put Villa into some trouble. This game, like the amount of times we were able to just get them to make mistakes or get the ball off of them was incredible. And it's not just because one player like Jackson pressuring here and there, and so, but it's like the team press. Uh, I think that goes very underrated with us. There's always like, it's weird. We kind of like sit back, and then like out of nowhere, like all our guys, it seems like they all know exactly when to time that press. And we perfected against Villa. Um, and then another player I need to give a shout out to is Caicedo. Well, probably Maresca because he played Caicedo right back, and I was a little nervous, but I mean, I was like, okay, well, Caicedo's, he's defended out wide before, uh, like when Reece James gets a red or something like that, or when he was hurt. But then starting a game, I was like right back, but then he kind of inverted him, playing like a center defensive mid, and then let Enzo Fernandez kind of push up a little more. Uh, I thought that was really creative. But and then shout out to Enzo Fernandez as well. He's been playing really well recently.
Ever since he got the divorce.
Dude, that's a wild story. To those listeners, he was married to like his childhood like sweetheart or whatever, and I think they had kids together too.
I think they got two kids.
Two kids, yeah. And then he basically told her, he's like, "Hey, I got married to you when I was super young, and I feel like I missed out on a big chapter. Just need to live on my life a little more." So they're on good terms, but apparently he's just kind of living on his own.
That's a message. If you're in Brennan Johnson's case, if you're on a bit of a slump, stay off social media. If you're Enzo's, like if you're also in a bit of a slump, just take some time off, get a little divorce, you'll be back on track, no time. He has looked like it's just ironic, but like since that split, he's honestly been playing really well.
Yeah, his finish was really nice. It was like a quick touch and finish. And then Jackson again, beautiful finish. And we're gonna have to have some uncomfortable conversation here, with who might be emerging as the best striker in the league. Um, we might be having some uncomfortable conversation at the end of the season, because he's looked incredible. He needed to add kind of the final product to his game, And before you would last season we would be shoot like he's on goal, but like he's not gonna. You get like nervous about him skying it or whatever. But now we're like, as a Chelsea fan, when you're watching, you're confident he's gonna bag these goals. That was a big part of what was missing, but he's really putting it together.
And then I was also really happy to see Pedro Neto getting a play on his preferred right-handed side. I thought he did pretty well. Even though I thought Madueke's played fine this year. At times can be quite selfish, but I feel like defensively he puts in quite of a shift. Um, but I thought Pedro Neto played quite well on that right-hand side as well.
Yeah, that's a good call out. I forgot about that change. Madueke has been the one attacker that's kind of annoyed me this year. I think I said it on like one of our pods earlier, but yeah, he's super selfish and he takes the extra 2 and 3 touches, whereas he could just make the easier pass, but he's always looking to go on goal. And I guess sometimes as an attacker you have to be selfish, but you have to pick and choose your moments.
Mhm. But I will say, I think you guys, apart from Liverpool, I'll say are probably the scariest team in transition. Um, like if a team turns over the ball, you have to get back quick versus Chelsea because right when you guys get the ball back, it's like find Palmer and then Palmer knows exactly who's making the run where. Like you guys are super quick on the transition. It's pretty scary.
I think we have one of the more complete teams, and the depth as well is very scary. And we're all super young, but with experience. But a couple places I think we need to upgrade still is I know a lot of people are saying our goalkeeper. I think Robert Sanchez is okay. Just needs to cut down his mistakes. Saving in hands, he's pretty good, but sometimes he just, I don't know, loses concentration.
Telling you,
Uh,
you guys get Diego Costa, it's
but
GG.
I don't know though. Jorgensen, he started today, but he's uh, he was kind of a questionable signing, or like a lot of people didn't know of him, but I was watching some of his clips and he's shot stopping is nice, but his feet, he's really nice with his feet. Um, so I think maybe by the end of the year or next year he's gonna take over the number 1 spot. But another spot I think we need to slightly upgrade or is our right center back. Um,
You think so?
yeah, Fafana and Colwell they have good chemistry together, but Fafana,
I thought Fofana's been a bit disappointing at times.
yeah, he makes a lot of mistakes and
But don't you guys have Tosin?
yeah, we have Tosin, but I don't know. I feel like like look at Arsenal. They have an elite partnership. Both players are elite. Liverpool when Kanate. I want something like that. I mean, Colwill is the next. Once Van Dijk's gone, it's Colwill's league. But like, I want someone on the right.
Forgetting Saliba's still out here, bro.
Bro, Colwill's gonna be miles ahead of Saliba if by the end of like next year, probably. Bro, Colwill, he's different, bro. Saliba doesn't have near
Pure,
Colwill's passing ability.
I say pure
Nowhere.
defending wise,
It's
Saliba's
close. Colwill, bro. Oh my
Cole's
goodness.
distribution is better, but I'll say pure defending. But that's another day's um
Dude,
argument.
if Colwill had someone like Gabriel next to him, he would look different defensively. And Colwill attacking wise, man, some of the passes he's able to make and his
No, I'll give you
diagonal.
that. His passing is ridiculous. Yeah.
But
But
he's gonna be Chelsea's captain when we're building this dynasty. He has to be, assuming Reece James keeps coming in and out.
15 game James.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad to see. Fofana is another. his injury's been unfortunate. I think ever since his ACL was donezo, he just hasn't looked the same. And you guys spent big money on him, I think.
We did. Uh,
Isn't Batty a
it,
Shield?
he's left-sided center
He's
back.
left-sided.
Yeah, like Colwell, but yeah, Tosin would be that guy. I mean, Betty Shield did come on for Fafana, but so I would prefer like another right-footed center back partner with Levi Colwell, and then have Betty Shield coming off the bench. We'll see. Maybe Tosin. Uh, I mean, he's good. I mean, he had a good season with Fulham, but like, is he like elite?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Y'all need to
Uh,
go after Antonio Silva. He's gonna be the
ooh,
next up, and I think big names out there.
but again, that's just being picky. Like, Fafana's good, but if I were to say like we need to upgrade somewhere, maybe or center back.
I say goalkeeper, but yeah. I don't know much about Jorgensen either, so I'll
Oh,
have to watch him more.
yeah, you'll have to watch him. Especially his distribution with his feet, he's very comfortable. Um, and then I guess real quick touching on Villa, um, my only real takeaway was uh Emi Martinez really annoying first off. And then secondly, Watkins, he missed a couple of chances that probably last year he would have finished. And we kind of got lucky. He could have tied the game up 1-1. Probably could have been a different game, but
Yeah, he's slowly sliding down the pecking order in the elite striker category this season. He's been a bit disappointing for Villa. I don't know if it's
Jackson or
because
Watkins.
purely off this season, I'd say Jackson.
Hmm. Okay, good.
Watkins been disappointing. I don't know if it's because of how well John Duran's played as a super sub. I don't know if that's like putting a bit more pressure on Watkins, like to be like, oh, I have to perform. It's like when you put too much pressure on yourself, you can like overthink it at times. So I don't know if because of John Duran doing so well off the bench, it's putting more pressure on Watkins, like a psychological thing. I don't know, but some of the it's like some of the routine finishes that he would just slot away last year. He's struggling this year.
If you're Unai, like struggling um for a run of games, do you think you maybe potentially sub Watkins and try to change it up, put Duran in?
Yeah, I think so. Bring Watkins off the bench, um, and then like hopefully he'll get a goal or two off the bench, start getting confidence back up. Because I mean, there's still a player in there. You can't just go from like
Hmm.
being a great striker one year to just completely falling off. But I think it's just a confidence thing. And strikers, they play off of confidence, a lot of them.
Hmm. Another player, I probably just goes to how good Caicedo was defensive, but Rogers was shut down too. But it's not just this game. I mean, he had a really strong start to the year, but he's kind of dipped in his performance as well.
A little bit. Um, yeah, he didn't really have that much influence for you guys.
Mm-mm.
But then again, yeah, to your point, Casado, he's so versatile and he's uh I think another uncomfortable conversation, but I think how much did he cost? Uh
100 mil or 110
was
mil?
he the same price tag as Rice? I think he's
About the same. Yeah, it was like 5 million more or something.
I think uncomfortable conversations, but I think he's better than Rice.
Oh, yeah, this is a fact, scientific fact.
I don't know, like
Correct.
Arsenal fans, like whenever you ask them like best DMs, they're like Rodri then Rice, and I'm like, y'all forgetting about Casado? Like,
Hmm.
and I said it when you guys had that transfer. A lot of people were like paying 100 mil for Casado. I'm like, he'll give you the same thing as Rice, if not more. But that first year, he just had just like a struggling year, so people were really doubting him. But I mean, you
And
can see his true capabilities this year.
mhm. And to your point, you're not saying Rice is bad. I don't think Rice is
No,
bad.
no.
But yeah, Caicedo, I feel like for Chelsea, he's been our best player this year.
Hmm.
And he might be one of the best midfielders in the league right now, just like based on form.
Exactly. Yeah. Not even for like defensive mid, just midfields in general. I think he's one
Hmm.
of the best.
And then moving on to our
Sorry,
game.
one more point from this game was just I thought Pau it might have been to your point about you guys pressing, but this was one of the first games where I thought Pau Torres didn't have his best game. He was
Oh
just
yeah,
struggling to play out the back.
him and Konsa.
And Digne, like, but Pau Torres is one that really keeps the like play the splitting passes and kind of gets Villa
Hmm.
on the run, but he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's true as like a
He
ball
was on,
playing center back.
yeah.
And then Emi Martinez too was making a couple howler mistakes.
That might have been the first time I saw a direct free kick in the box in a long time.
Dude,
That's
I thought
hilarious.
I feel like Palmer has a quality to just aim. I don't know why they try to just smash it down the middle, like, but
Yeah.
instead finesse it up. Like they
Hmm.
have the skills to kind of go up top in the corner.
Yeah.
And then just moving on to today's game, I don't want to touch on it too much, just because I guess first 15 minutes or so, even first 20 minutes of the game, it was pretty even. And I will say probably Southampton was the better team for the first 15 minutes or so, but um, after we grabbed our second, then Kunku's goal, we kind of just ran away with it. Uh, Madueke today was came back into the starting lineup and his play, ironically, we were just talking about how selfish he was, but today all his decision makings were perfect. Um, Disasi and Tosin as well look good. And then João Felix, I feel so bad for him because he's a top quality player, but our team is just so stacked. It's hard to find playing time, and he's always kind of like unlucky not to get enough playing time. But started today, looked really good. Him and Palmer were like the guys running the show.
Felix is definitely a luxury to have. Anyone in your front line gets hurt, you can slide him in anywhere in that attacking.
Dude, exactly. And then shout out to Jordan Sancho, Jay and Sancho finally getting his first goal for us.
Uh, I don't have words for him. It's a letdown for us. Axel Disasi, he's one player I think you guys could offload to get money um in the transfer market. I think if you guys want to be in the elite of the elite and want to upgrade that right center back, I think Disasi's one who I don't know about his value and stuff, but I'm sure he's quite expensive. And I think for his price tag, I think he's like a I don't think he's like elite. And I think you could get good money for him.
Yeah, and when we've had to, be versatile with him, he's he does not look good out as a right back.
Mm-mm.
Other of our guys can play kind of Colwell can play left back if he needs, and then Fafana's played right back and stuff. So yeah, Disasi's not very versatile, but the one thing I love about him is his passion, dude. Is I don't know how much that adds to the team, but like as a fan, I can see it, and that's one reason I like love Disasi. So I don't know if like he brings that to the locker room too.
Uh, you need some passion merchants with the
Yeah,
spirit.
he's definitely that guy. But yeah, against Southampton, dude, they probably could save themselves from. Let's see, how many goals have they been scored on? So they've conceded 30 goals.
Jeez.
And surprisingly, the next closest team, can you guess? They've
Uh,
conceded. Oh wait, no, Wolves have conceded 36.
oh my gosh.
You're not gonna win games like that. But 27. That's Oh, Leicester's 20. Okay, yeah, my stats are wrong. Um, I was looking at West Ham that just stood out. I assumed West Ham conceded the most, but
Huh.
um, they've conceded 27. But anyway, Southampton, they probably could save themselves this year 10 goals. They could probably be down to 20 if they just cut out those mistakes from the back and just clear it at times.
Yeah, they gotta come away from their philosophy of trying to play out the back like they're an elite team. They just put themselves into trouble.
It is very fun to watch though, and like when they do get out of it, I'm like, wow, that's like wow, impressive, like composure. But then I'm like, yeah, but they also like up the pass like two times or whatever.
Yeah. I think you said Emi Martinez being super annoying. I think manager wise, Russell Martin, I find him quite annoying. I don't know. I don't think he's that great of a coach. Uh like I feel like if you see some of the same issues occurring resulting in goals, um,
Hmm.
which are so avoidable, like you should be smart enough to make a simple change to your tactics. Like, come on now.
Yeah, he's very persistent. Um,
It's like he
and
knows
then
he's like secure with his job. Like,
he said that too, right? Like,
I
yeah, I'm
think
not going
so.
anywhere or something.
Yeah.
Um, but let's quickly wrap this up, go into some of the games this weekend. Uh, do you think, City won today um, against a weaker, like, well, Nottingham, they've been struggling a little the past few weeks, slightly, but they got the dub, De Bruyne scoring. But do you think they can beat Palace this weekend at Selhurst?
Palace been kind of looking kind of nice too, but
Yeah,
uh, no, I think City will get the win.
I think this is going to be a close. I think they might pull out a tie here. I think that's going to be very close. Um, and then your boys versus Nottingham on Saturday as well. What are you expecting?
Hoping for a win. Encouraging to see Euro back, so hopefully he's in there, Diallo. And I think Ruben, he's been doing a lot of changes in his lineups, but he's slowly figuring out which players are it for him. So I think I think this weekend we'll get a better picture of who he's gonna be trusting. He'll still experiment a bit, but I think he'll get a better understanding. I think we should get the win.
It'll be fun to see, assuming Alonga starts him versus his old club and
Yeah, I miss
that
that boy.
that
He's
matchup with
yeah.
maybe Dallo. Um, that might be a scary matchup to watch.
Yeah, long as electric.
Hmm. Um, so I think that's going to be my player to watch that game. Um, and then,
In the morning, that Merseyside derby, Everton Liverpool.
hmm
Everton with the smacking today. Um, but I think Liverpool they'll bounce back.
yeah, too easy. And then I think the biggest game Sunday is Spurs Chelsea. All right, we'll do score predictions right now for this one. What are you thinking? And it's at London Stadium.
I think it'll be 3-2 uh Chelsea.
Whoa. I'm going yeah, I'll go 3-1. I think we'll dominate this game. Uh I think defensively we're too good. Won't be conceding two against Spurs. And then do you have any other games to kind of keep an eye on across other leagues?
Um no, not across other leagues, but I will say the game Premier League game Monday will be I think a very important one in terms of managerial status. West Ham versus Wolves. West Ham got clapped by Ruud van Nistelrooy's debut Leicester Monday 3-0. So Lopetegui, I think he's really in the hot seat. I don't know how he's survived this long without anyone talking about his job security.
And then Gary O'Neil today smacked by Everton 4-0.
Yeah, so I think Monday could be a El Sacico part two. Around the league though, Atletico Sevilla Sunday. that would be a good matchup to watch.
Mm. And we'll have to keep an eye on Real Madrid. They just lost again today, so to Athletic Club.
With that, it's been another episode of Super Subs. Um, Hope you guys enjoyed this Premier League roundup. And until next time, peace out.